Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm taking a bit of a break from I'm taking a one movie break from the Bond series to get to something else I've been wanting to rewatch, and that would be the first John Wick. This is the chapters 1 through 3 collection on 4K, has the movies, including the special features, which is nice because the 4K discs really can't hold as much as the others. I guess they found a way to hold the longness that is John Wick Chapter 3 and the features. But yeah, John Wick came out in 2014, directed by Chad Stahelski and an uncredited David Leitch, and it stars Keanu Reeves, Michael Nyqvist, Ian McShane, John Leguizamo, Willem Dafoe, Alfie Allen, Dean Winters, Adrian Palicki, and Lance Reddick. Now in this film, an ex-hitman, played John Wick, comes out of retirement in order to get revenge on the people that killed his dog and stole his car. It's really as simple as that. Now, what did I think of the film? This is going to be an interesting one because, yes, while I do think this is a great action movie, I did give it a 10 out of 10. But if you don't know how I work, I don't think the movie's perfect, and I don't think it's fantastic. I think it is fantastic for a mid-budget action film. Now, what that means is, the people who keep saying this, the second, the third, and the fourth John Wick movies are the best action movies ever, I have to tell you something. You need to watch more action movies, because there are better action movies than this that, one, don't have annoying side characters, two, don't have bad CGI, three, have mostly practical effects, and four, four, more action, and five, they actually use blood squibs. Now, I say 10 out of 10 for this because a lot of mid-budget films like this don't use squibs anymore, and they really are lazy with the action in a lot of these mid-budget action films. And again, yeah, I think this is amazing for what they're trying to do, because you won't see a film like a PM Entertainment film. I could take a bunch of PM Entertainment films over this. Recoil and Guardian Angel are easily better action films than this. Recoil with Gary Daniels and Guardian Angel with Cynthia Rothrock, easily better action films than this. Easily. But you won't hear about them because they aren't... Because A, they don't have an A-list star in them. B, the stories are... there to push the action, but they're also not terribly done. C, they were direct-to-video, and this went to theaters. And D, what stuck-up movie critic is going to watch those movies? They're going to immediately go, oh, they're B-grade action, which means they're bad. You know what? A lot of B-grade action movies are way better than the films that keep getting called the best action movies ever. Action movies such as Point Break, which I thought was okay at best, and it has some really fucking infuriating characters and very infuriating decisions. Again, I haven't seen John Wick Chapter 4 yet. I'll find a way to watch it sometime. After I finish Chapters 2 and 3 again. But, even Die Hard. Yes, Die Hard was revolutionary. But in terms of the action, if I just want a non-stop action movie, I'd rather watch Die Hard 2. And I can kind of see where Roger Ebert was coming from when he gave the first Die Hard a half a star out of 4, I think. And then he gave the second one 3.5 out of 4. Because Die Hard 2 is a non-stop action film. Die Hard 1 is more story-based, and all of these best action movies ever have really long moments of nothing happening. And from what I'm hearing about John Wick Chapter 4, the first hour barely has Keanu Reeves in it. So they basically made Keanu Reeves a sideline. They basically made him a supporting actor in his own series. Which, if that's true, I'm gonna be fucking mad. Because from what I'm hearing, I have not been spoiled of everything. I have not watched clips from the movie at all. I am specifically talking friends of mine that have seen it, and I've been like, okay, I'm curious. I don't really care about being spoiled. It's not like a spoiler is gonna take away from my enjoyment of the film. But from what I'm hearing, a bunch of characters are being set up for spin-offs. Like Donnie Yen's character in the film, apparently he's going to get his own spin-off. There's going to be Ballerina with Ana de Armas, which I want to see these spin-offs because I want good action films. There's going to be Ballerina, directed by Len Wiseman, which I actually like Len Wiseman as a director, especially with action, because the action in Underworld, Die Hard 4.0, or Live Free or Die Hard, and Total Recall even, which I don't remember being crazy about that as a remake, but I remember there being some really cool action scenes, especially for being a PG-13 film. I'm curious about that, and there's also going to be The Continental on Peacock, which I'm curious about those. But if John Wick Chapter 4 is going to be more setting up than paying off as what is, for now, going to be the ending of the John Wick series, then I'd rather the first hour be cut out. And I'm very curious. I'm very curious of how it'll work as a 2 hour, 49-minute film, which I'm pretty sure that's what the length was, though I was told. But yeah, that sounds way too long. But again, with this, John Wick, as a mid-budget action film, it's fantastic. If this was a lower budget action film, here's the thing. You have like Keanu Reeves. Yeah. I'm willing to bet money that if Keanu Reeves was not in this film, it would not have been as well received as it was. I'm willing to bet on that. Now, I like Keanu Reeves in the film. Don't get me wrong. I think he does a great job. But if he wasn't in the film, I don't think people would have cared about this. This is one of those films that comes along once in a while and people are like, oh my god, action films are back. If you had paid attention, you would have seen, like, I'm going to bring up action films that I've seen from the past years. I'm going to try to find some from before 2014 to make my point. But time out the action is still alive, and this is the only action movie you'll ever need to see. You don't watch action movies. So, here you go. Great to amazing action movies that I've seen in the past few years. Past decade, at least. High Heat with Olga Kurylenko and Don Johnson. A lot of fun. I wouldn't say it's as good as this, but I still had a lot of fun with it. Blackout with Josh Duhamel. Fun action movie. White Elephant with Olga Kurylenko, again, Bruce Willis, Michael Rooker, John Malkovich. Fun action movie. Sniper Rogue Mission. Most of the Sniper sequels I would watch over John Wick. Even though I rate them lower, a few of them, I'd still watch them over it. Castle Falls with Dolph Lundgren and Scott Adkins could have used more action, but it's still a lot of fun. Kate with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Miko Martineau, and yeah, I'd rather watch that than John Wick. I think it has better action. I think it has more interesting characters. I think it has a more interesting world. Sue me. Jolt with Kate Beckinsale. Fun action comedy. Kate Beckinsale, very fun performance. Gunpowder Milkshake with Karen Gillan. Nobody. I think Nobody is a way better action movie than this. And Hardcore Henry as well. I know Hardcore Henry came out a year after John Wick. I think Hardcore Henry is a fantastic action film. Fantastic, and because people are like, oh, I had such a hard time with the shaky cam. There's more shaky cam in the fucking Bourne movies. Don't give me that shit. Like, shaky cam is the issue. It is not too shaky. It is the right amount of shaky to make it realistic. Nobody and Hardcore Henry, I could actually see being called some of the best action movies ever. Frickin', there's a really cool indie action film. I wouldn't say it's as good as John Wick. Scarlet, with Brian Krause, Melanie Stone. Like, pretty great fight choreography. The CG blood isn't too bad. It's definitely a way lower budget film, but I still really like it. The second with Ryan Phillippe, Legacy of Lies with Scott Adkins. So many Scott Adkins films are better than John Wick. So many. Avengement, Accident Man, Legacy of Lies, Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear. I haven't seen them yet, but I'm willing to bet Undisputed 3 and 4 are better action movies. Or 2, 3, and 4. Frickin'... I'm looking through them. Sorry, I'm not mad or anything. I just think people need to open up a little. Anna. I thought Anna, if you want an action movie with a good story, Anna, there you go. Leon the Professional. My favorite film ever. Leon the Professional. Not a ton of action, but it has an amazing story that actually fully invests me. I could see that being considered the best action movie ever, and I would disagree on that. Even though even though it's my favorite film of all time, I would disagree on that. I would immediately be like, no, it's not an action movie, really. Yeah, Avengement. Frickin' Final Score was a hell of a lot of fun. Action movie with Dave Bautista, but because Dave Bautista isn't a popular actor or a popular actor to like, if Dwayne Johnson was in it, people would be all over it. It's all clout. It's all people being like, oh, a famous person's not in it, so I don't love it. That's exactly what this is. I'm not saying everybody. Peppermint. I enjoyed Peppermint more than John Wick. Sue me. I think Jennifer Garner is a much better actress than Keanu. I think she has a lot of charisma. I really like her character. I thought it was a straightforward action film, and it actually delivered on the action. As does John Wick. I'm not saying John Wick doesn't deliver on the action. I just think... I don't know what I think. I just think it's... These people don't watch enough action movies. Frickin' Message Man. A film from 2018 from Corey Pearson. I think it's Australian Asian co-production. Awesome action film. 24 Hours to Live with Ethan Hawke. I know I could go on. Like, so many action films I'd rather watch than John Wick. I don't hate the film, even. I love the film. As that's the caveat. I love the film comparing it to other mid-budget action films. It is an achievement for a mid-budget action film. Because so many people love to, I see it all the time with these lower budget action films I watch, direct to video or otherwise, where people immediately go, oh, it sucked because lower production values. You can say that about a lot of PM Entertainment films. Yes, they don't have the best sets, but they fucking deliver on the action. You cannot deny that. And these people call it, oh, bad action. Yeah, it's such bad action that it's actual blood squibs, insane gunfights, insane shit blowing up, people getting shot everywhere, insanely bloody at times, cars in car crashes. You'll sometimes see like 30 or 40 cars fucking explode or get crashed into. Frickin', you get like actual martial arts, which, I mean, again, yeah, John Wick has some judo shit or karate, whatever, I can't remember exactly what, but it's basically gotten to the point where people's expectations are so low that they see a film like John Wick and it's like basically their first action film. Like the only other action film they saw was fucking Total Recall remake, and they were like, you know what? This is the best action movie ever. Look, it's the best action movie ever because it has action and it has story. And Keanu's in it. They go insane for Keanu. I like Keanu as an actor. I think he seems like a cool person. But this like lynch mob online that's like, oh, if you don't like John Wick, you hate actual movies. If you hate John Wick, you're allowed to. You're allowed to hate any movie you want. If you're hating it just out of spite, though, I mean, I'm not going to say you're not allowed to hate a movie just out of spite, but it's pretty fucking childish. And this, like, John Wick mob, like, I'm not saying everybody that loves John Wick or likes the first film. This mob that went crazy for the John Wick films, going to see the fourth one, immediately lowering the ratings of the other films, making it higher, and specifically shitting on John Wick Chapter 2, which I didn't think was the best of the series at all, but I thought it was at least fun. I would say it needed a bit more, a little bit of more story, because there's barely any story in the second one at all, which, that's the one issue. If you're gonna make the film longer, at least have, they do have the action to back it up. It needed to be more varied because it was mostly just shooting people and almost none of the judo shit, and that can get very repetitive. I thought Chapter 2 was a bit repetitive at points, but these same people have this mob mentality, like with when artists upload a new song to Spotify, and then they're like, okay, if you're my followers, you'll cheese the votes in order to get my song to #1, and they fucking do it. That's the exact same thing that's going on with John Wick. Each new movie, they're like, oh no, the last ones are shit, this one's awesome, this one's the best movie ever. Watch more fucking movies. That's what you need to do. You need to watch more fucking movies if you're literally gotten to that point where like everything, people have set their expectations so low that a film that has some good action, that literally so many other direct-to-video films from like the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s have done multiple times, but because Keanu's in it, because it has a budget above 1-digit million, like above 10 million, now you pay attention because it's a studio film. It's annoying. It just gets annoying seeing all these films just get ignored because they're not big studio films. And it's kind of sad. Like, I don't think John Wick's going to be the death of cinema, but especially hearing what Chad Stahelski wanted to do with the character really fucking annoys me, and it annoys me that people are buying into it. almost like they're too afraid to say anything bad about it. Because, again, it's a mob mentality thing. Just like with every Disney movie that comes out. If you don't like the new Disney movie, you're homophobic, racist, sexist, whatever. Yeah, I'm just gonna get to the... I am 20 minutes in. I'm 20 minutes in. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Keanu Reeves is good in the role. He's good in the role. There you go. That's about all I'm going to give him, though. I'm not going to say he's excellent. There have been reviews that say he's excellent. I really don't agree there. Alfie Allen was fucking terrible. I'll just come out and say it. In my review, I say not great. He's terrible. I don't buy him as the son of this, like, big crime boss. I don't buy it. Michael Nyqvist does a good job. I like him as an actor, and may he rest in peace. Ian McShane is fine as Winston. He's not in a lot of the movie, so not much to say about his character here. John Leguizamo's fine as Aurelio. He's in one scene. Willem Dafoe's good as Marcus. Dean Winters, the guy from the State Farm... No, not State Farm. Allstate commercials. Mayhem. He's good. Adrian Palicki is terrible as Miss Perkins. Her and Alfie Allen are big cons to the film. This film. Like, again, I don't hate the film. I think it's good. If I was rating this amongst... Here's the thing. I'm gonna make a point here. As I'm rating it against other films of its same budget, it's a 10 out of 10. But that means it's a 10 out of 10 against those films. There have been better mid-budget films, mid-budget action films especially. But here's the thing, all of these movies that get considered the best films of all time, look at what all of their budgets are. Point Break had like a $20 million budget, mid-budget. Die Hard, even, had like a $25 million budget, something like that. Almost none of the films that are considered the best action films of all time are lower budget. Hardcore Henry doesn't get that recognition because, oh, there's a bit of shaky cam. But the Bourne films were considered the Bourne Identity was considered the best action film when it came out by many critics. You know what I'd say to them? You have not watched enough action films and you need to watch more. Or you shouldn't be critiquing an action film other than Bourne Identity just because, oh, it comes off like these people come off like pompous dickheads. They really do. They do to me, and I don't know if they do to everybody else, but they really do to me. They come off like they know better than everyone. They come off like they feel like they're better than everyone, and it really pisses me off. It really does. And I just hope that they can get over themselves sometime. These critics after critics being like, oh, the action's good, but there's no story. It's an action film. Do you not understand how stupid that sounds? To be like, oh, it's an action film, but it doesn't have a lot of story. It's not a story film, it's not a drama. It's an action film. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying, as a mid-budget action film, John Wick is a 10 out of 10 for me. Because my expectations were so low going into it. Not because of Keanu or anything, but because I was like, okay, so many mid-budget action movies have let me down, even especially high-budget action movies, because most high-budget action movies are PG-13, like the Fast and Furious films. And from what I've heard from friends, John Wick 4 is basically a Fast and Furious film, which that pisses me off. if I was grading this amongst other films like Recoil, Guardian Angel, PM Entertainment films, many of them, it would be like an 8. And for me, that still means good. My personal preference, I'd give this film like a high 7 or a low 8. Because, again, it does take a while to get to the action, and I'm not a big fan of that in most films, because it usually feels like they're like, okay, we've spent all the money on the actors. That's the issue. They spend all the money on the actors, the eye candy, and no one actually cares about the action. That's how I feel about this. I know most people won't agree, but that's how I feel. People came to these films for Keanu Reeves. They were like, oh, Keanu Reeves and something different. And they love it. Of course, they ate it up. Now, I will be watching the other two. I will, and I'll be reviewing them. Hopefully I'll be more concise in those reviews. But yeah. Again, I will say one more time, and I will say it for the last time. For a mid-budget action film, it's a 10 out of 10. If I was rating it against other films, 7 or an 8. If I had to compare it, which it seems like most of these people who call this the best action movie ever, or call the second or third or fourth movie the best action movie ever, have never seen another action movie before. Because a lot of the people I see on Twitter saying the fourth is the best action movie ever, they are clearly people who do not watch action movies, and like people in the comments have asked them, do you watch a lot of action movies? No, I just watched this one. They don't have expectations, so they don't know what to think. Again, yeah, this would be a 7 or an 8. But because my rating system is rating it for what it's trying to do, yes, knocks it out of the park. It's trying to be a neo-noir action thriller. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. I'm not going to do pros or cons. You already know my cons. Alfie Allen and Adrian Palicki were terrible. Sorry if this is a bit of a bummer, but yeah, that's how I feel. Movie review next door out.